The Wilmington City Council is the legislative branch of Wilmington City government. As such, it is the responsibility of City Council to introduce and pass all laws for the City of Wilmington. These laws are called ordinances. An ordinance is a formal act of council. Council members may also propose resolutions to support or oppose proposed legislation at the state and/or federal level. A resolution is a formal expression of the opinion or will of council. There are many resolutions provided to the public for sympathy in the significant milestones and accomplishments of individuals, houses of worship, nonprofit organizations, and businesses of all sizes. Another significant responsibility of Wilmington City Council includes reviewing and approving the city's annual budget, which is submitted by the Office of the Mayor. It shall be the duty of the council at least 30 days before the end of the fiscal year to adopt the annual operating budget ordinance for the next fiscal year. The annual operating budget ordinance shall not become effective, and the city auditor shall not approve any order for any expenditure thereunder until the council has balanced the budget. Prior to the passage of the annual operating budget ordinance, the council shall adopt a capital program and capital budget. The council may delete projects from the capital program as submitted, but the amendment must be first presented to the mayor and the City Planning Commission. At a council meeting in March, the City Council invites the mayor to give the annual budget address. During the month of April, departmental budget hearings are presented to City Council. The budget hearings are focused discussions around the budgetary financial resources allocated to each department and the planned use thereof that is linked with departmental goals and priorities in consideration of the economic condition of the city. It is during this process that council reviews and scrutinizes each department's budget. Another primary function of City Council includes redistricting of the city. It shall be the mandatory duty of the council to redistrict the city within 6 months after the publication by the United States Census Bureau of the population of the city at each census, which is done every 10 years. Each council-mandated district shall, as close as possible, have an equal number of residents. Should council fail to redistrict the city within 6 months following the publication of the census, the council shall not receive any further salaries until council has passed and the mayor approved the redistricting ordinance. There are 13 seats on the Wilmington City Council. All members are elected to a 4-year term. Each resident shall have the right to vote for 1 district council member, the president of the council, and 4 council members at large. To this end, not more than 3 candidates for council members at large shall be nominated pursuant to law by any party, with the 4th representing the minority party. The president presides over city council meetings and is responsible for the day-to-day operations of the office, including staff, meeting with constituency groups, overseeing research, overseeing the office budget, and providing access to training and informational resources for the other members of council. The president serves as an ex officio member of all council standing committees and by virtue of position serves on 13 boards. Wilmington City Council hosts 3 types of meetings: City Council, standing committees, and special meetings. The majority of City Council's legislative work is done at the committee meeting level. This is where proposed ordinances are discussed and refined based on input from City Council members, administrative staff, and subject matter experts and the general public. These meetings are open to the public, and the public is given an opportunity to speak to the issues on the agenda. Once the discussions are closed, members of the committee may determine one of 3 actions. 1. Members can vote to move the legislation out of committee to be considered before the full council. 2. The legislation is not voted out of committee to be considered before the full council. Or 3. The legislation is held by the sponsor. Resolutions are reviewed in committee but are not required to be voted out of committee. Resolutions are presented to the full council for a vote. If members of the committee do not agree with the resolution or have questions that have not been answered, the resolution can be held in committee. Presentations and information for community organizations that do not call for legislation also happen at these standing committee meetings. The meeting will please come to order. City Council meetings are where proposed ordinances and resolutions are presented by the sponsor and voted on by the full body of the City Council. Council members have an opportunity to present their position on the proposed legislation before the President calls for a final vote. These meetings are also open to the public. During the legislative portion of the agenda, the public can address only the issues on the agenda. If the ordinance requires a public hearing, members of the public are given the opportunity to comment on that ordinance. A special meeting is called when there is an urgent public safety issue, fiscal issue, or an issue that can cause a detrimental effect to the city as a whole. It takes at least 2 meetings to pass an ordinance into law. The first and second reading is presented by the sponsor at the initial meeting. The ordinance is then referred to a standing committee for further discussion. Upon being voted out of committee, the ordinance is presented at the second meeting for the third and final reading and final vote by full council. A legislative resolution that has been discussed at committee is then presented to the full council for a vote. The City Council holds its official meetings at 6:30 p.m. on the first and third Thursdays of most months. Meetings are located in the City Council chambers in the Lewis L. Redding City County building. To take part in public comment that is on the legislative meeting agenda, you must sign in by 6:25 p.m. Agendas for every meeting of council are available on the council's website, wilmingtoncitycouncil.com, and in the city clerk's office. If you have any questions or would like to get in touch with members of the City Council, please call the council office at 302-576-2140.